Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So let's get on to covering the species that were in news in the month of February and March 2020. So let's begin with the March ones because February ones were really not so important. So in the month of March we were having first species as the white giraffe. Alright, so this is how it looks. It's of a white color entirely, although the eyes are black. But let's go into the details in a chronological manner as it's been written right over here. That why we are studying it now, because there is just one white giraffe left in the world on the planet Earth. तो अभी बस एक ही white giraffe रहता है. There were 3, but then poachers have killed 2 extremely rare white giraffes in the northeast Kenya. So right now only one such animal left in the world. And why are they white in color or in appearance? Because of leucism. Now what is leucism? So basically in the leucism, it's a genetic condition wherein the skin cells, they have no pigmentation. There is either complete loss of pigmentation or partial loss of pigmentation. So that's why they appear whitish, but their eyes are of black color. And it's different from albinism, because in the case of albinism, here also the animal appears white, but the reason is different. In the case of albinism, there is no production of a chemical named melanin in the body. However, in the case of leucism, it is because of either full or partial loss of pigmentation, but still eyes appear black. Also, in the case of leucism, it might be the case that the animal does not look white completely. It might be looking little patchy or something different than what's been shown here in the photo. So slight difference between leucism and albinism we have to keep in mind, and other than this it's really simple. And now these giraffes are most often found in the savanna woodland. So definitely in the savannas we have grasses and tall trees, and that is the reason why their neck are so tall. I mean, we are deviating right now, so let's not deviate. Why are they having so much of tall neck is not our point of concern. So habitat is something we have to keep a tab on here. So habitat comprises of savanna woodland, which is there in Africa. We know what are the threats to them, as we have already studied. It's the poaching, very high number got dwindled to only just 1 now. And then there are ecological issues, there is habitat loss, and then there is a civil unrest, because we're talking about the African continent and we know there are still civil wars in some of the areas are going on. And what is the IUCN red list status? So the IUCN red list status is the vulnerable one, and under sites they are appendix 2nd. And what is melanin? It's a dark biological pigment found in skin, hair, feathers, scales, eyes, and some internal membranes. So alright, there is one just tiny information that as per my understanding, the IUCN status of white giraffe and the normal giraffe is the same. So maybe IUCN does not consider white giraffe as a separate entity to be given a separate IUCN red list status, because otherwise they are in just 1 in number. One such animal is left on the world and still they have gotten the vulnerable tag. So maybe white giraffe and normal giraffe, they are the same when it comes to being categorized into IUCN red list status. So that's it. So it's a vulnerable one. Basically this is our key point of concern. We just have to memorize this and that's it. So what are the points that we are to keep a tab on from this slide? Number 1, White giraffe, only one left in the world. Where are they found? In Africa and in the savanna woodlands. Habitat loss, civil unrest, poaching, ecological issues are the threats to them. Vulnerable is the IUCN status under CITES Appendix 2. And what is melanin? It's a pigment found in skin, hair, feathers, scales, eyes, and some internal membranes. That's it. So we are done with this. Let's move on to the second, which is the gray hypocoleus. What is it? Not very important, but still let's just cover it. Number one, it's a bird. It's a migratory bird, and they are found in West Asia and North Africa, and then onwards they come to India as well. That is the run of Kutch, and they have been sighted in the western Rajasthan as well. And second point that is important is this, that least concern they are under IUCN. Plus they are found in the dry semi-desert region of northern Africa, Arabia, Afghanistan, Pakistan and western India. So only one point is important, that gray hypocoleus is found in the dry semi-desert region of the Africa, Arabia and the such Middle East and northwestern areas. So usually the migratory birds that we have studied are found in the Siberia or Russia, and then onwards they come to India, but this one, that is gray hypocoleus, is found in the western side of India, that is the West Asia, North Africa, and then they come to run of Kutch and not to any northeastern region. So this is the only point that to be understood from here. IUCN status is least concern. Slightly boring, but then this is how it is, so please memorize it. So let's get on to the next one. Now this too is not very important, but then again let's just cover it. It's the bump-head parrotfish. It's the world's largest parrotfish, and this is how it looks. It's a fish, but it does look like a parrot, and it has gotten a bump onto its head. So name is quite apt, bump-head parrotfish. Where are they found? So recently its survival in the Andaman and Nicobar Island hinges on, is dependent upon the persistence of coral reefs and presence of marine protected areas. So this is one thing that we've gotten from here, that if at all a question comes even in mains, that what is the importance or significance of coral reefs. So apart from writing superficially that they are important for the species, we can give the example of the bump-head parrotfish, that specifically its existence is dependent upon the persistence of coral reefs, and that too in Andaman and Nicobar area. And these are not legally protected in India, and we are not supposed to know the reason why and how, and either way this point is not important. Maybe they are not that abundant in that very region, so that could have been the reason, but either way it's not important. So what is important is this, that IUCN red list status is the vulnerable one. Again please memorize it. And then let's just read the entire slide now, because then there is nothing important left. All the points are not important, but let's just cover them either way. So they are distinguished by beak-like teeth plates, only partially covered by fleshy lips. Absolutely not important. As the adults mature, they developed a pronounced bump on their vertical head profile. Absolutely not important. Feeding habitats are benthic algae and live corals during the day. Alright. As each fish consumes up to 5 tons of reef carbonate per year, they are important corals and sand producers, positively affecting the resilience of the coral reefs ecosystem. Not so important. And the threats are slightly important. They are number one, humans. So humans are a threat to every species, nothing difficult to comprehend. They are vulnerable to spear fishermen and netters. Bleaching, coral bleaching of course, overfishing, preyed upon by large sharks. Now it's a natural phenomena, and I do not think it's quite a major threat, but then this is written over here, so we have covered. Aquarium trade, captured for ceremonial events. So not very important, but still we have covered. So let's get on to the next one. And Since we are to talk about 3 species of March month and 3 species of February month, so we have done with 3 of March. Let's get on to 3 of February. So basically it's the Reaper of Death. So another species we're talking about right now, basically it's a Tyrannosaur. So its photo is here. It's a Tyrannosaur. We call it Reaper of Death. It got a difficult name, Thanatotherastis dagrutorum. Alright, it's a Tyrannosaur basically. And what are Tyrannosaurs? They are meat-eating dinosaurs. So they used to live in that very period, the Jurassic period we know. And why we are studying it now? Because scientists have revealed that a dinosaur fossil found in Alberta in Canada, it belongs to a new species of Tyrannosaur, and this is not important for UPSC at least. And Tyrannosaurs were one of the largest meat-eating dinosaurs to have ever lived on planet Earth. The species is the oldest Tyrannosaur known from the Northern America. Which species? This one, Reaper of the Death. The found fossils are important to understand the late Cretaceous period, which is the period between the Tyrannosaurs, when the Tyrannosaurs roamed the earth. So absolutely not important, so do not worry about it. Let's get on to the next one, which is the urban bent-toed gecko. And again it got a difficult name. It's the Cryptodactylus urbanus. So most important thing is from where it has been discovered. Answer is Guwahati, Assam. Right. And this is the only point to be taken from here. So if a question comes, urban bent-toed gecko was in news, it was discovered from where, the answer would be Guwahati and Assam, and that's it. So we are done. Let's get on to the next one. It is the Craspidotropis Gretenthunberg. So now this too is not so important, but then let's just cover it. What is it? It's a new species of land snail. So this is how it looks. It's a snail and it's been discovered from the Brunei, and they have been named after the Swedish environmentalist Greta Thunberg. So this is it. They reside in tropical rainforest. They are sensitive to drought and extreme temperatures, and they are named after the Swedish climate change activist Greta Thunberg. That's it. And there was one more species named after the same very girl, and the name of the species was the Nelaptodos greta. So what is it? It's a beetle. So this is its photo. It's a beetle. This too has been named after the Greta Thunberg, and we are calling it Nelaptodes greta. Absolutely not important, but again anything can be asked, so just be on the safer side. We have covered it. And then one more point is here, that in the year 2018 there was another species of beetle, and that was named after the actor Leonardo DiCaprio. And what was the name of that beetle? Gruvalinus Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's it. So let's get on to the last species of the month of February. So basically it's a microorganism. So that's it. What is the speciality of this microorganism? So this animal, it's not a microorganism, it's an animal, and its name is Hanguva salminicola. Alright, this is how it looks. And scientists have discovered that this animal does not need oxygen to produce the energy. So we know we need oxygen to break down the glucose, and that's how energy is produced. But this animal does not need that oxygen. And it's a tiny, less than 10-celled parasite. So it's a sort of microorganism which lives in the muscles of salmon fish. And it does not have a mitochondrial genome. It is a relative of jellyfish and corals, and as it evolved, it gave up breathing and consuming oxygen, or became anaerobic to produce energy. So basically it's a parasite, so it has given up the exercise of breathing or consuming oxygen, and that's how it has become anaerobic, and that's how when it produces its energy it does not consume oxygen. Absolutely not important, but still, for the sake of covering, we have covered and we are done with 6 species. The ones that are yet to be covered will be covering day after tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching and goodbye.